1, 2. You hear the clock ticking. Tick tock. You about to stop living. Tick tock. I want you to remember me. Tick tock. But the dead don't have no memory. I'm coming. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can hold me. Nobody control me. I'm coming. I'm here to do my thing. I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. I'm coming.
Hey folks, Evil DM here. Another episode of Idols and Efreetis. Here we go. This week, I just want to say thank you for all the people that have subscribed in the past week or so. I appreciate every one of them. Don't forget to, if it's your first time here, to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the videos, because there'll be more to come this week as we are still obviously quarantined. Anyway, this week we're going to be talking a little bit about morale rolls. Yes, they do exist in first edition Dungeons & Dragons. A lot of people debate that they don't and kind of forget that this rule does exist here. It is on page 67 of the Dungeon Master's Guide, and there is a little paragraph, or I should say 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, that go over how the morale check works. Morale checks are used to determine the amount of will to fight in non-leader NPCs and can be applied to both henchmen and hirelings of character types of groups of intelligent and also groups of intelligent monsters, based on a morality score of 50%. And then there's some modifiers here that will determine how that percent goes up or down. Now, so if he's faced by a superior foe, such as in he's constantly being hit more often than he's hitting, you're going to be checking that at each round. 25% of the party has been eliminated or slain, you're checking at another 5%. Leader is unconscious, you're going to be adding another 10% to that roll. 50% of the party has been eliminated or slain, you're adding another 15%. Leader is slain or deserts, you're checking at an actual additional 30%. So you're adding these bonuses to the 50% here, and you're trying to roll to determine if he is going to run away. Now, there are some other checks here, so you're trying to get over the percentage of it. So each time it goes up is let's try that again. Each time the percentage goes up, that's a higher chance of that person running away or that monster running away. So the morale checks can go up and down throughout battle. So if you're at a point that the leader is unconscious and you're at 60% and half the party is gone, and that's in the 75%, but let's just say that one beast you roll and boom, you get over the number, so he's staying, he's fine. That monster starts, or that NPC starts killing people. Each enemy slain takes 10% off. Inflicted damage without receiving any, 20% gets pulled off. And then there's more morale checks here that add in. It's kind of a fluid number going back and forth. It's not as easy and as straightforward as how they did it in second edition with a D12 when rolling a number underneath things. Monsters have a similar system. It's a little bit more, you have to account for, started with a 50%, then adding 5% for each hit dice above 1, and then plus 1 for each hit point above any hit die. That's normal, like a +1, +2, things like that. So the difference between the maximum score and what you're adding, say you're rolling the percentage, this is a little bit different. Basically, when you get over the 51% or greater, they're going to start to surrender, which I've never had a monster ever do. 31 to 50%, they're going to flee in panic, and 16 to 30% disengage and retreat, and then 1 to 15% fall back and fight. So that's kind of how those things work. I've never used this system whatsoever. I don't particularly like it at all because it's too much calculating back and forth for a DM. I generally will roll a percentile just to see how it works as far as do they abandon or not. Most of the monsters don't abandon, frankly, because I don't put a lot of thought into throwaway monsters. Now, if it's a large group of NPCs and they actually have intelligence and it's logic I'm using here, if your group is facing off against the cult and there's 12 cult members and then there's one leader, and there's maybe, say, like a priestess or something, or a priest, the as the cult members start to die off, the leader is going to start getting a little nervous, and I'm going to roll to see if he's going to take off. Now, if the cult members start dropping like flies, that cult member, the cult leader, and probably the priest are going to take off, guaranteed. I don't have to roll for that. I kind of use logic for these things because that's how I handle it in my games. I like to just try to do everything based on how the mindset of these major NPCs. As far as monsters go, unless it's a really high-level, intelligent hit dice monster, I'm not bothering with them running. They're just going to fight until they die because they're just monsters. I mean, it's fun to have kobolds run away because they're goofy and sometimes they like to tactic-wise. So if they're running away, it's not really they're running away. They're mostly just doing it to regroup. But generally, I like to keep my monsters fighting to the last battle or the last hit point. So hopefully that's given you an idea where to look for morale rolls and how that works. If you want to comment below, go ahead. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.